Good morning, journalism students. Happy Friday. There is a special treat that a couple of your classmates have put together for you. Let me show you.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm back. I know you guys missed us. So, as you guys know, the school's closing because of a coronavirus. So, oh my God, Mr. Martinez, what are you doing here in the hallway?
I'm gonna go visit a classroom right now. I'm going to Mr. Martinez's health class.
Well,
You know, work is work.
exactly. Well, what are you?
Look at that. The first episode in 2 months that we've had of Vital Signs. Valentina and Annabella put that together, and we're hoping to get it approved so that we can upload it and we can post the first episode in 2 months. It doesn't mean it's the last episode, as we talk about in nearly every update. We can once again go back to episodes. It just requires people to collaborate from a distance. I urge you, don't give up this voice. Don't give up your voice into what's happening at the school, into the small stories that are occurring in our lives, in our homes, in our neighborhoods. You have a voice to tell these stories. These are Bravo stories because you're part of Bravo. You can tell stories about what's happening with the graduation ceremony and what you're hearing. You can tell stories about what you're experiencing with your classes. You can tell stories about what you're experiencing in dealing with this historic pandemic. There are no limits really to how you could unfold your imagination, and the only limit is whether you will decide to do so. And that is not a limit that is imposed by any of us. It's a decision that you make. So I urge you to please make the decision to continue to cultivate and spread your voice. Part of journalism, and we've done this from the beginning, you have creative freedom to go explore things that you would like to explore. Yes, at the end, when we put together an episode, we submit it to the administration for approval and whatnot. But it's rare that they actually ask any of us to completely remove something. Sometimes we just have to adjust it. So I hope that you will keep wanting to tell your story, your friends' stories, your group's stories, your community's stories. We've still got about a month of class left. Over here you'll see your semester project, which is the documentary. It's not due until Friday, June 5th. Today is Friday, May 8th. This week's weekly issue production is on creativity. You'll recall this was our podcast that I asked you to listen to. Where does creativity come from and why do schools kill it off? The relationship between creativity and education in a system, not so much a school that does anything, but an educational system that does not promote or reward or create conditions that are conducive to creativity. Answer these 3 basic questions based off what the podcast says. How would you define creativity? What does the podcast say about where creativity comes from? According to the podcast, what are schools doing wrong when it comes to cultivating creativity? And finally, According to the podcast, what can we do to be more creative, both in general and for the purposes of our journalism program? So please post your answers. It's been 2 weeks since anyone turned one in. And at that point, it was just 2 students out of the entire program. So I really hope that you'll continue and that The Last Man on the Street is not the last episode of the semester. Thanks again to both Annabella and Valentina for putting this together. It's a 14-minute episode. And we'll see you all soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay creative, and take care of yourselves. Until next time.